Hello everyone, I'm teacher Shelly. Let us all have fun and learn today's lesson. You just need to relax, listen, and watch carefully. No man is an island in itself, writes John Donne. Whether you accept it or not, you are part of a society where day-to-day interactions are necessary. Moreover, you live in a world where your thoughts and actions are governed by existing laws and values. If you want your life to be smooth sailing, you should follow these laws and those values at all times. To maintain order, social institutions and groups enjoin their members to follow written or oral laws. Being aware of this, individual members, in turn, obey them as much as they can and impose the same if given authority. Who has the authority to acquire somebody to do an act or course of an action? Externally, the government, the school, barangay officials, religious leaders, elders, or friends can ask you to fulfill your duties and obligations. Let's take an example of your duties as a Filipino citizen provided by Section 1 of Article 5 of the Philippine Constitution. It goes like this. You must be loyal to the Republic. You must honor the Philippine flag. You must defend the state and contribute to its development and welfare. You must uphold the Constitution and obey the laws. You must cooperate with the duly constituted authorities in the attainment and preservation of a just and orderly society. Internally, you can be in command of yourself. Let's have the answers of the select students about what they should do to develop effective study habits. First, I should learn to be consistent in my studies. I should plan when I'm going to study. I should create a consistent daily study routine. I should know exactly what to do and what I need to do to accomplish during each day. I should procrastinate my study session. I should start with the most difficult subject first. I should always review my notes before starting assignment. I should find a place where I won't be disturbed or distracted. I should use study groups effectively. And I should review my notes, schoolwork, and other class materials over. Either author-imposed or self-imposed, the speech act of asking someone to meet a certain obligation in oral or written language is realized by the modal verbs should and must. Let us now start of what you should know. The statements of Benedict, I must read the book, and Christelle, I should read a book, have modals requiring fulfillment of an obligation. As to who between them will certainly read the book, the answer is Benedict. The use of must suggests that the performance of the action specified by the main verb is irresistible or necessary because it is the lawful thing to do, and breaking it has a corresponding consequence. In other words, Benedict has no choice but to read the book because he is afraid that a long test will be given afterwards, whereas for Christelle, without being told she will be given a demerit, she uses her personal judgment to commit herself to an obligation, which is reading the book. While both must and should are used by writers and speakers to let the receivers of the message perform different kinds of obligations, must is more forceful, more obliging than should. And another thing, must is chosen over should to suggest the higher authority of the source of the message. For instance, an executive order coming from the President of the Republic of the Philippines more likely contains must than should, because the President, as the highest official of the country, has an enormous power to impose an obligation upon the Filipino people, compared with an advice column in which the writer does not assume higher authority over his or her letter sender. The lesser compelling modals would probably be used. In short, must and should are both used to inform the listener or reader of his or her obligation. However, the speaker or the writer decides which between must and should to use, based on the degree of authority and force, as well as the sense of duty he or she wants to convey in his or her message.
Let us now apply what you have learned. Directions. Consider the sender and the receiver in each number and fill in the blank with must or should to complete the message. Number 1. Sender, Department of Labor and Employment. Receiver, private sector employers and employees. Message. For an employer to take any action against an employee, there blank be a genuine or valid reason. Number 2. Sender, mom. Receiver, son. Message. You blank take a rest. Number 3. Sender, school library. Receiver, library user. Message. Conversation on mobile phones blank be held outside of the library. Number 4. Sender, Zumba instructor. Receiver, client. Message. Stretching exercises blank be performed after a warm-up or workout. Number 5. Sender, traffic officer. Receiver, driver. Message. A driver blank stop at designated stop line. Number 6. Sender, service crew. Receiver, customer. Message. You blank try our special cream puff now. Number 7. Sender, parent. Receiver, principal. Message. Students blank be well-rounded individuals. If they're overloaded with homework, they won't be able to develop in other areas. Number 8. Sender, Department of Health. Receiver, a person with COVID-19 symptoms. Message: the individual blank self-isolate while test is pending. Number 9, sender, editor, receiver, reader. Message: I think you blank examine your behavior around her as well as the rest of your coworkers. And lastly, number 10, sender, a grandma, receiver, a granddaughter. Message: you blank about your partner before you settle down with him. Okay, so after reading the summary of Beowulf, let us now move on to the last part, which is the comprehension check. Question number 1. If you were an advisor of King Hrothgar, what would you tell him to calm down Grendel? Number 2. If you were Beowulf, what would you tell the warriors who fled while you were wrestling with Grendel? Number 3. If you were Hrothgar, what would you have said to Beowulf about the temporariness of fame and power? And number 4. If you were Willof, what would be your advice to the troops who left Beowulf while he was fighting with the dragon?
Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed and learned something. Bye!